What's up, y'all? This is K&M Live. Um, we're gonna be doing another review today, another reaction to fellow YouTubers, over here. Um, his channel name is Masculine Development, Fair Use, and I want to give a shout out to him. He is gonna give some interesting thoughts about what's going on with the young guys in society and like how things are going as far as like how we're progressing throughout these crazy times that we're in right now. So we're just about to get into that and hold tight.
Average men are waking up and society is terrified. There is a movement that is brewing. There is something that is going on, which you can check in my last video in the comment sections. A lot of men are sick and tired. A lot of men are very sick and tired and they are checking out. And if society doesn't start taking this problem extremely serious, they're going to have a devastating problem on their hands. Listen, 2 or 3 generations ago, as a man, if you're working 40 hours a week, you come home, you're going to be able to provide for your wife, provide for your kids, provide for your household. And back then, they had a way that your woman would respect you. Your kids would respect you. But on top of that, the number one thing that they would do is they would appreciate your sacrifice. And so when society told men that they had to sacrifice not only for themselves, but their family and their community, their society, they were okay with that because it wasn't the hard work.
What does your video sound like? Go to artlist.io and get the best music and sound effects for your video.
That bothered us, right? It was the fact that we were being acknowledged about our sacrifice that kept us going. I saw a cute, heartwarming video the other day. This guy driving home, and he was telling how he's on the brink of damn near psychosis and whatever. He was going crazy. And the thing that keeps him going, working these 50, 60-hour weeks, is as he was pulling into the garage, his daughter comes running out, like jumping up and down for joy because she's just so happy to see him. The guy starts crying because he's like, this is my motivation. And that's a lot of guys out there. Most men don't work long hours for the sake of just working long hours. We don't do that. It's not fun. The average man isn't doing that for fun. An average man is willing to do that for an appreciative wife, appreciative children, a society that respects him. And so what ended up happening.
The only caveat that I would say to that is also I would say like we do the other caveat would be like passion. If you like for instance, if you're like a ball player or like in my case,
Artist.
I'm like into boxing, or like you said, artists. Like when it's something that we care about, we do it. Guys do invest their energy into things that we care about, especially when it comes to gaming, even building stuff. We put our energy into things we care about. So the moment that we trade that in for somebody else, that's usually a family. That's usually a wife, a kid, or maybe sick parents or sick siblings or whatever it might be. There's usually guys are not going to be motivated to do long hours at these corporate dead end jobs like that for no reason, unless there's like usually a motivation behind it other than themselves. And I remember my boxing coach used to say that. He was like, you guys just never do it for yourselves, man. It's always got to be somebody else to trigger it. So that's something that I wanted to add in on that.
Happening 1 to 2 generations later, and thanks to unism, right? It's starting to erode the very emotions that men needed in order to keep us going. Now, of course, there's that group of men out there that like, as a man, you should be doing this regardless of the situation, and you should sacrifice, and you should stay hard, right? I get it. I completely understand where you're coming from, but let's not pretend that having a great companion, having great children who respect you, who admire you and look up to you matters. Let's not pretend that that doesn't matter to a man's overall psyche of whether he wants to continue down this path of sacrifice. I would love to remind you, a path of sacrifice. Let's not pretend like that doesn't matter. And so again, what ends up happening is those feelings that men, they're getting eroded. In fact, a lot of people have the thinking that if it benefits a man, I'm not going to do it at all. And it's like, that's the most that's the most disgusting attitude to have, because it's taken that attitude of appreciation, that attitude of people speaking life into men, and it's twisted it and turned it into entitlement. Now they believe that you have to do this. Not only that you have to do it, but it's your honor to do it. It's your honor to sacrifice yourself for women and for society. And again, like I said, as men, we didn't care as long as we were getting those emotions of being appreciated, of being respected. But nowadays, that's not happening. In fact, what they're expecting you to do is to take nonsense, to take garbage, to take being led on and still do that sacrifice. I'm not doing that. I'm not working 50, 60, 70, 80 hours and coming home to an ungrateful wife, to disrespectful children, to a society that doesn't even like me as a person, but only likes my utility, only likes what I can do for them. That's horrible. I'm not doing that. And the thing about it is, thanks to the internet, young guys like me, I'm 28, young guys like me, we get to see.
It's like our age.
Shout out to the 95 gang. Shout out. You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir. We in here too. And I want to say that harp in a little bit, he's absolutely correct. That today, no matter what you look like, I don't care what race you from, because all communities are dealing with this. If you grew up in America as a young dude, you're seeing it. Like, social media is showing us what we didn't see back in the day. I feel like a lot of this stuff used to go on back in the day, but it was just more hidden. It wasn't
controlled.
More controlled. It was more tamed. Now it's just all in the wild. It's all let loose.
Free for all.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, if we speak up about it, we get our chins clocked. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how dare you guys speak up? Shut up and get back to working your 9 to 5. Get back in there, boy. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I feel like not enough guys are actually speaking up about this, because it's true. Like, today, they want you to be a thug and like not care about your life, not be too serious about your life to get by. Now they're gonna be like, that's not all of us, that's not this, that's not that. But come on, we got to use common sense. Social media is yes, it's fabrication to some degree, but it's also a reflection of the reality that we're living in behind closed doors. And that's why they do them in skits and funny, you know, like they say, all jokes contain true shit, right? So a lot of this stuff is not just, oh, they're just playing around. No, they really mean what they're saying. Like, seeing stuff like hashtag kill all men and all this other stuff. It's like, why would me as a guy risk my life for a society that's basically telling me, okay, as long as you work, you're useful. But until then, if you deviate from that, you're deemed as useless and you don't deserve nothing. And it's like the other party don't have to deal with that kind of pressure, but we do. And it's just kind of like, it's not right, bro. It doesn't motivate me to go do more. It actually motivates me to do less and get away from it and just check out. So I completely relate to what he's saying. And another thing that I wanted to say is, another good thing about the internet that I wanted to say is it connects people that now you realize you're not alone in your experience. You're like, wow, there's somebody else going through what I'm going through. Like, I didn't even, usually in your own community, you may not talk about stuff like this because you may not want to be judged or whatever. But these platforms give us a chance to meet other people we could actually be great friends with, have great relationships with, because they just happen to be born on another side of town. They're in another state. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, damn, we're like like-minded people. And I feel like that's the good thing about the internet as well. It's bringing the right people together for better or for worse. Like, I mean, it could be bad people bringing in bad people together too. So, but yeah. You got anything to say on that?
I don't really have much to say. Just that I can see where he's coming from. Like, you don't want to work this hard and not being respected by your own spouse and kids. That would usually drive anybody insane. Like, I'm doing all this and I'm getting hassled at work. It's like somebody will snap, and you're gonna see it on Channel 5 News. Man snapped and wipes out family, or usually not even the kids. He just the spouse in general, because she's just a catalyst. Just makes that person explode. So,
speaking from a straight man perspective, by the way, I know that we have to put in these nuances because some people will take it out of context, but just wanted to let that be known. But let's keep going.
The next generation. We get to see the past generation. We get to see the older men. And the horror stories that I see watching older men does not make me excited about getting married, does not make me excited about talking to women, does not make me excited about building a family, building a community here in the West. It doesn't. A lot of older men are checking out.
If you're a business owner, then animated explainer videos are the best way to capture attention.
Do you understand what that does? If older men are checking out, I'm asking, I'm like, whoa, 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 why are they checking out? What's going on? They realize that the sacrifice that society is telling them that they are honored to make has been one giant lie. And you think I'm going to follow in those footsteps? I'm not doing that. Now listen, there's always going to be a group of guys who keep society running and following those footsteps. It's not going to be me. And for my last video, the comments that I've seen, it's not going to be a lot of guys. A lot of guys are saying, you know what? I'd rather try to find an online job. I'd rather try to find an online business. I'd rather do something and get the heck out of here if I'm going to try that. What? See, when 100 guys are able to work online or find a remote job and leave, no one bats an eye. Nobody cares. The slander will continue. When it's 1,000 guys, again, nobody cares. Slander will continue. 10,000 guys, is like, something's going on here, but it doesn't matter. We don't need them. It's whatever. 100,000 guys. You're like, okay, what the heck is going on here? 1 million guys. See, this is what's gonna happen. These numbers are going to increase and increase and increase and increase so long as they feel the need to disrespect men in the media, the society, the nation, the family unit, personal. As long as you're making men the enemy, men are going to be waking up and says, I'm not a monster. I'm not going to walk out here and sacrifice for all of these individuals who don't even like me anyway. They're going to start going to different places where they're being appreciated. The fact is, I was talking to a man the other day. This sealed it a lot for me. He was married 12 years, on his way to retirement. I think he said he was 3 to 5 years away from his retirement. His wife was unsatisfied, divorced him, and set his retirement back at least 10 to 15 years. And so I'm curious, I don't like to poke soft spots because, I asked him, I said, are you okay to talk about this? He's like, yeah. So I asked him, I say, I never knew how divorce courts work. I haven't gotten divorced. And so when people say you have to give a woman half your assets, I was always curious about that. Like, what does that look like? Does a person come to your house? Do they give you a giant bill? Essentially what he told me is he made a giant Excel sheet of all his accounts, all of his investments, and he had to split it down the middle and wire this woman a check. Listen, I don't condone men crashing out. I don't condone that, right? There's help out there. Go get that help.
Out 2024.
But if a man does crash out, I completely understand. What? You're this close to living the retirement lifestyle, the retirement dream that you've set for yourself, and your wife ups and one day wakes up and says, nah. She got the house that she was, I don't even want to go down into it. I don't even want to go down into it. Essentially, she got the house, and she's with the dude that she was cheating on him with, and his children. Oh my God. The way he was talking to me, he was drunk at the time, but he was taking that like a champ, man. I was like, I'd crash out, man. I'd crash out. I can't live that way. And it's not because it's like I'd be okay afterwards. I genuinely think that I wouldn't do well in that situation. I really don't. There's no way that somebody I could call the love of my life is all of a sudden, and there's this rumor that I've heard, and if you're an older guy who's
one thing I will say about this, and this is a learning lesson to all the guys that hopefully come across this: protect yourself at all times. That's what I live by, and a lot of guys that I know that are pretty strong in life, that's what they live by. Because I'm into boxing, and that's the first rule you learn when you go to boxing. Always protect yourself at all times. But that don't apply in the ring. That don't just apply in the ring. It can apply in your real life too. It applies in every avenue in your life. As a dude today, you have to learn how to protect yourself financially, emotionally, physically. You have to know how to find ways to protect yourself as best as you can. You have to not just jump into these situations, but test the waters, see how other people are doing it, and then see how you fit into this photo, and then go from there. Yeah, like the guys of the old who used to just say, forget it, man, I'm going in and I'm not going looking back. Yeah, that mentality is dead today, 2024. I will say, like, no, dude, I would not advise any man to move like that today because you will end up like the guy he's talking about in the story. And there's another guy that I personally worked with. She tried to come after his retirement account, but that money that he had, he used it to pay the lawyer fee in their divorce. I was like, so basically, and then tried to get back with the guy a year later. He's like, nah, cut her off. Like,
That's crazy. She
Yeah.
got some nerve trying to come back after
Yeah.
she did all that.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like how you gonna go after this man's investment account that he ended up using that money to pay for your lawyer and his? So basically, you evened out. You didn't get nothing, and so you looked pretty dumb. So it's just like today, I think it is our responsibility. We have our phones, we got computers, we have all this high tech around us. There's really almost no excuse as a guy today between the ages of 18 and 30 to not have the information to be able to defend yourself. Like, we all have this information accessible to us. So it's not like, if you already went through it and you got lucky and you came out unscathed and you're not too damaged, you can recover, go for it. But definitely protecting yourself is a major key today. Like, I don't feel like that's talked about enough. Like, dudes, we're not taught to, apply these things to ourselves. Like, first it's like, look after your family, look after everybody else. We look after everybody else, but what about us? We don't look after even ourselves sometimes because we're so busy trying to protect everybody else. So that would something that I would advise to our viewers and guys who happen to fall ear to this. Yeah, just learn how to protect yourself, man. And it seems like we're almost low key getting kind of a little bit like a coalition in a way, like where you have other dudes who are speaking out about this. So don't just see it as crazy talk. Take in what they're saying and apply it to your life. If it don't apply, let it fly. Just keep going. But take note of it because it may not happen to this guy, but it may happen to you. And it may not happen to you right now. It may happen to you years down the line. That's the thing about it. You don't know when it will happen. That's why you always gotta keep that energy as long as you can, no matter what the circumstance is.
Who's gone through this? Let me know down in the comments. There's this rumor that I heard that whenever you are in a divorce court, you see a completely different side of the person you once married, a side that you have never seen before. And I asked him about it. I was like, is that true? And he's like, yeah, it's true. He got blindsided. And it's like, I can't, oh my God. And listen, this is just one tiny horror story and the hundreds of, not thousands of stories that are out there for access for people to look at in real time. This thing is still going on to this day. And you think that's going to make me excited about wanting to get married here? So let me get this straight. 50 to 80 hours a week, underappreciated, not respected. When I go out into society, I'm looked at as a monster or an enemy. Are you insane? I'd rather not. And this is why I'm making arrangements. I'm trying to get out of here. Now, again, I know some of you guys are hardcore veterans, hardcore patriots, and maybe your solution is just switching states or switching cities, switching counties. But again, there's no way. And what a lot of younger guys, what people don't realize is when the older guys make a decision like that, the younger guys are like, wait, we can do that too. And then the younger guys younger than me are looking at me saying, wait, why is he doing that? What's been going on? And it's going to create this chain effect of men who are like, you know what? It's not.
What he's saying is exactly on point. When I started having similar conversations at jobs with guys younger than me, they all started following my trail. They're like, yo, man, like, I didn't even know. Like, some dudes, they didn't even think about getting their passport. They didn't even think about, why would I need this? Why would I need that? It's like, bro, you need to have all that. You got to have all your paperwork in order. You got to have all these things so you can move whenever you need to move. Because we're in a time where it's like, you can't be stagnant. You can't be stagnant for too long. So, man, he's in on a lot of keys that I can definitely relate to because we both going through similar things.
Worth it here. I'm leaving. It's not worth it here. I'm leaving. And hopefully the spark of this movement is it will send a message to younger women to say, wait a minute, a behavior has to change. Because for older dudes and guys like me, I really genuinely feel like it's over. And the reason why I feel like it's over is because the only option that these women have at the most part, again, this isn't everyone, this isn't every woman, right? But on average, the only decision that they can make at this point is to turn around and start acting like housewives, start acting feminine. And I start to see it now. But for me, it's too late for me. Because for the longest time, men have been saying, listen, don't do this. We don't like this. Don't do that. And women have said, you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. We're going to do it anyway. And they do it anyway. And now in our eyes, you've become so undesirable that we're like, you know what? I think it's just time to leave. I think I'm going to leave and go somewhere else. And now all of us are like, wait a minute. I can be who you want me to be. I can do that. I take
It's
pride
already
in this
too
now.
late for that.
Nah, and also it's a manipulation tactic. They don't genuinely mean what they say. Even if they're making videos now where they're like, "Oh, we support guys," and blah 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 blah, it's only because after the damage has been done and the economy's in a bad state, you got the election, you got Trump and Biden, like kind of like who's running this country really. It's kind of like wow, like all the stuff that was hidden are now coming to light. It's like we really are in shambles, and we're just driving a car with the wheels falling off. We're just trying to make it last as long as we can. But like, nah, once you've seen things, you can't unsee them. And that's what they don't understand. So it's kind of like as much as I'd want to turn a blind eye and be like, well, that stuff don't apply to me and just move on with my life. Of course, I'm gonna move on with my life, but I'm definitely not gonna turn a blind eye. I definitely saw it and I'm definitely gonna keep it in the back of my head. And I'm definitely gonna keep my head on the swivel because like I said, I'm not arrogant enough to believe that just because it happens to somebody else, it can't happen to me. I'm definitely a believer that if it can happen to one person or somebody it can definitely happen to you. So you gotta take note of that and apply it to your life the best way that you can. So my take on that is that no, all this stuff, if they're showing changes and stuff like that, I don't buy it. All that stuff is just uh false talk. It's not. It's fox talk.
Bunch of distractions.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. It's just like a oh, like just listen to us. No, 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 no. At the end of the day, once you put your foot down, you gotta just keep going and get away from it the best way that you can. So I would say that most I wouldn't take this kind of talk seriously because look at how much damage that has been done so far. Look how much look how they shut dudes up on social media and on the news. The news, like when I grew up watching the news, they're shutting dudes up that even dare to speak up about certain things. If they're shutting them up, what they gonna do to me? You know? So I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't take I would they've already shown you when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. So I'm not taking nothing they say seriously. Like let's say you do come across a good person. My biggest enemy is the laws of the land. A lot of states are now changing their laws when it comes to these very sticky discussions. They even now, even in Nashville and Tennessee in general, all of Tennessee, it's mandatory paternity tests because the paternity fraud is so high. A lot of dudes are not raising their own kids like they thought they were. It's a high percentage of dudes thinking that I was raising my son or my daughter, but they were never really my son or my daughter. And a lot of dudes are experiencing that they even made it into a law that now it's mandatory for them to do it at birth.
You raising her best friend's kids.
And it's like you got to think if they're changing the law, that's something serious. If they're adding the law to it, that means that it's so bad that they have to put a law on it because it's getting broken so much. You know what I'm saying? So definitely it's not something that I would take lightly for sure.
And it's like, no, like it's too late. You know what I'm saying? Because again, when you start studying female nature, this is a very easy talking point, is they say that a woman would do everything that she wants in her early to mid 20s, and then when she starts to hit the wall, late 20s, 30s, all of a sudden she wants to turn around and be this perfect person with high mileage body count, couple of children. And it's like, that's no different than what's going on in society right now. They acted any way they want to. Now that they see that men are saying, you know what, I'm checking out, I'm done, I'm leaving. Now they're turning around and saying, oh, let's start these campaigns about, oh, I want to be modest now. I want to be housewives now. Listen, that may work on
Soft
some
girl
guys.
era.
That's not going to work on some people because we've already seen the degeneracy on the internet. The internet is forever. We've seen how a large group of women have been acting when they've started getting the freedom that they so asked for and they wanted. And now it's like, I'm checking out of that. I'm not doing that. Because again, all that is going to lead you into the trap that the older men have fallen for, that have told us, listen, young men, get your money up, get your online job, and get the heck out of here, man, because this is not for you. And like I said, again, there are some men who this is not going to apply to at all. You're fine here. You got a nice paying job. You found a unicorn, a diamond in the rough. Congratulations on you. But that's not the average man. That's not
Correct.
the average
I
man's
agree.
experience. And so listen, man, there's a shift that's going on. There's a movement that's going on. If you relate to this, put that down in the comments. Let me know. Talk to me. If you've been through a divorce, let me know about that. I want to hear about it. Because again, and listen, if you're in a happy, healthy relationship, put that down in the comments. We want to hear about it. Because what I'm seeing is there's an overwhelmingly majority of guys who are having more negative experiences than they are positive experiences. And if you think that I'm going to willingly dive myself to sacrifice for a negative experience for the next 30, 40, 50 years, you're absolutely out of your mind and you're insane. So listen, like the video if you like the video. If you made it this far and you want me to keep talking about these topics, type down keep talking. And with that, guys, I'll see y'all in the next one. All right, peace out.
Well, my guy had a very mouthful of things to say, but I just think overall, just guys in general, who live in the States, just feel like they have like a lot of pressure, a lot of expectations to fulfill, and within all of this, they want to make sure that they're fulfilling it, but also gaining that same level of decency and respect, fulfilling these type of duties that not only society puts on them, but also their girlfriend or wife has on them as well. And in turn, given how how the West is and everything like that, everybody wants to live their own type of life, be free, be free spirited, free will, and everything. People have to view relationships and how they treat each other has become very poorly, and with in turn, it makes the male and female dynamic very dysfunctional and toxic.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like he was saying, how that guy who got divorced or whatever, how they just split everything in the middle, and he was like almost a few years close to retirement. That type of situation, like he said, I can believe somebody will actually crash out. I want to know how I would react in that situation because I can't imagine being 60, 65, close to retired or about to be retired, then I have to go back and grind like I was in my 20s throughout to my 50s, trying to accumulate all the money that lost. Within that point, it's like what I want to go back living that type of lifestyle or just snap and just
To start all over
be like
again.
be like forget it. Just I'm going to jail now. But
Going to jail now.
not that I am condoning that type of behavior. I really don't condone anybody just to crash out like that and just throw everything on the line, especially if you have family members that are close to you. But like I said, I can see why people would delve into that realm of just like I'm just going to take everything down with me. And it's pretty sad it comes to this, but at some point something's got to change. But given as a whole, as a collective, how people treat each other, I don't think it's going to happen for a very long time.
Yeah. I guess my last take on it would be that I mean I pretty much spoke a lot throughout the vid. So my last take on it would be I feel like these topics are important for us to talk about because as dudes we don't get a platform or a space to talk about it. And if we do, they only feel like you have to be rich and famous to be able to talk. And it's not right. I feel like if you're an average dude, you have a right to your opinion, especially if you're a hardworking guy. You pay taxes. You do what you do your due diligence. You do what you required by society to be a eligible, bachelor in this
Upstanding
case,
citizen.
upstanding. Yeah. And it's like I feel like there's not enough of discussions about this because if it's like if we talk about it, then a lot of dudes will step out of the mix, and I feel like that's what they don't want. They want to keep you in these rabbit holes, these traps. They want to keep you there so they can keep you on that hamster wheel and keep you going back in these circles over and over and over again, and don't want you to break free of that spell. So um I definitely like to have these discussions, and you guys bring in any more topics that you guys may have, or anything else that you guys feel like we could discuss about or react to. Definitely we're open to it. Leave it in the comments, but for the most part, he's on point in this video. Shout outs to him. um Maybe he might see this or whatever. Just wanted to say respect, and also to the other guys that's supporting and watching all of us. You know, um, don't stop, man. If you got something good going on, just keep going for it. Don't stop. But definitely keep your head on the swivel, man, because it's really hard out here to really live traditional like the way our dads, uncles, granddads may have lived. And they didn't live a perfect life either. They had it pretty bad too. Because there's a lot of older dudes out here taking L's, and they're just not recovering. And they see us talking about it, they're like, wow, you guys are too young. Like, wow, like when I was your age, I wasn't even thinking about stuff like that. And it's like, well, that's kind of the times we're living in. Because now dudes are being put in there. All this stuff is being put in our face, and we can't just ignore it anymore. We can't just be like, it's just one of those two people's. I'm just gonna keep going. It's almost an epidemic at this point. It's definitely there's a change, a shift in the culture, and that goes for all classes: lower class, middle class, upper middle class. I mean, upper middle, upper class. Financially dependent where you are. All of them are taking L's. There's no, it's just the lower class and average guys. No, 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 no. Upper class dudes are taking L's too, and the elite, yes, especially them. And they're the ones, if anything, supporting the BS. In my opinion, they're the ones promoting and supporting a lot of these toxic messages and very not healthy ways to deal with life. So they're definitely, I feel like, enablers in this factor. A lot of them are either too scared to speak out about it or whatever the case might be. But yeah, that's my take on that, though.
So once again, we appreciate you guys for watching this video. If you have any comments about the video or any suggestions, please leave it in the comment section down below. If you have any recommendations, you can hit us up in our email in the description down below. And we see you guys in the next video.
Peace.